Hello and welcome to Attackers of Opportunity. This is your DM, Michael. I'm sitting around a virtual table with some of my friends, and we're about to play some D&D.
We're virtually excited.
I'm excited for kind of the next wave, the next adventure for all of you all. It's been a long time in building to this point, and there's a lot of things out in the world now that you all have heard about, that there are issues, and now you can truly go out and quest beyond the borders of just a country or two and into the greater world.
I'm scared. I fear
Greater world.
Fear change.
I'm just personally happy that all of you finally decided to get the full DLC download package so that now we can explore more of the world.
Yeah.
What?
We finished all the side quests.
It's a video game.
Well, some of them, yeah. You know, after like 3 years of a game being out, typically they just like make it an automatic download. So I'm here for it.
This is the part in the game where you look at the map and suddenly a big chunk goes whoop, that wasn't there before.
Exactly. Most recently in the adventure, however, you were at the funeral for Burial Silverthrust and were attacked by a handful of creatures. You follow them back to their base and the root cause of these stone blight beings, and you fought a avatar of one of the Dark Lords. And as you all battled it and finally laid it low, Valak was infused with this energy, this burning, these lightning bolts jumping out to him, and this knowledge appearing suddenly in his mind on these visions of the world around, a view of a mountaintop, the view of a sunken, perhaps octagonal temple with reliefs on the wall and some sort of overgrown, cracked set of walls with some sort of almost large bipedal frog monster with sharp teeth leaning out from a crack in the wall with a large blue body laid bare at its feet. And in those flashes, Valak at least understood other things that were happening in the world. You all returned back to the Silverthrust estate. You joined in the last few hours of revelry of the life celebration for Burial Silverthrust and the family there. You were invited to stay at their estate, and you all wake up the next morning. Some of you perhaps a little hungover. Others of you, coming out of a very nice bit of buzz from the night before. Breakfast is prepared for all of you. There's eggs, there's bacon, there's breakfast tacos, there's bowls of fruit that are brought out to you all. They do bring out one platter, and it almost sort of is in the shape of a snake that kind of winds back and forth on the platter, covered in a thick, dark sauce. But it looks like someone took a knife to the kind of top, if a snake had a spine, the top line of the snake, opening it out so that the material of the snake, because it's not an actual snake, I'll give you that, as it's opened all up, creating this almost soft meat interior for all of you to taste if you so desire. Again, covered in this kind of thick black sauce.
I'm hungry.
But all of this food is presented to all of you. It is the morning of a brand new day. You all are fully rested. You have all of your hit points, all of your spell slots, all of your everything once again. And in the final moments of the presentation of this kind of flayed snake dish, one of the guards outside steps in and goes, "Just so you remember, we do have this blue-skinned fellow we've been keeping for you. He's around. Should we give him bread and water? I mean, it's been like 2 days and we haven't given him anything. Should this be something we're doing?"
Seem to be affected by the fact that he hasn't had any nutrients in a few days.
Well, every time he almost comes back to consciousness, you knock him out again. So I don't know if we have an answer to that. Terribly sorry.
Sure. I mean, give him water and maybe some snacks.
Perhaps we should be the ones to bring him food and drink so that he's more open to talking.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. So probably Moonbeam.
So we're going to get him drunk.
Heather's.
For the listeners at home, Heather and my heads went the opposite direction in a head tilt during that noise.
You just seem so excited. I was like, well, they must have a good rapport.
Moonbeam just sees torture.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't want to talk to me.
Probably doesn't want to talk to Alec either.
I wouldn't trust them together.
Dorian, think he might want to talk to you?
Perhaps. Let's ply him with some decent fare and maybe some wine.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay. You have enough extra food here where you are easily able to prepare him a plate out of the food that has been brought to you. There is some wine. There's enough materials to make, a mimosa or a sangria type as well. Or you could just have just a standard glass of wine in there. If you ask, they could even bring you a glass of ale or mead as well. So you all can get whatever food, whatever provisions you'd like to try to ply this guy with, and one of the guards will show you down the hall, down a floor, so that you're, now granted, it's all in a giant cave city anyway, but you are underground even from the rest of the structure where this entity is, and they bring you into a room where at least Dickie has been before, because he's the one that's been casting the anti-detection spells on this guy anyway. So Dorian, at least, is brought in to the chamber. Anyone else that'd like to come, you're more than welcome. And Octavius Trigg is currently unconscious on the ground, still tied up when you enter.
All right.
After you.
Well, let's sit him up.
All right. With just a little bit of maneuvering, you're able to kind of bring his body up. His legs are tied together. His hands are tied together. His arms are tied together. You roll him up. His head is still lolling a little bit in an unconscious state. His arms are, we'll say they're tied behind him. So you kind of roll him up into sort of a sitting position, and he's hunched over, laying sort of limp over his legs. Not full flexibility, just kind of limped, hungover.
Does anyone have any smelling salts?
Moonbeam.
Why
was
do I feel like Moonbeam?
Druidcraft, yeah.
Looks at Moonbeam.
Yeah.
So you know how I was making it all flowery before? Yeah, we're going opposite with that. It's going to be harsh.
Okay. Roll me a nature check.
Yeah.
This
10.
is just for 10? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you create the spell, and it's a bit noxious. It's sort of like if, you know how rotten eggs have sort of almost a sulfury smell?
Mhm.
It's like you hit rotten egg point and then went 2 more days. And that's the smell you create for this guy's nose. And there's a sudden as he jolts back to a bit of consciousness and sees Dorian and at least Moonbeam in the chamber.
Hello.
Mhm.
Oh, yes, let's get that out of there.
You untie the gag from his mouth. Yes, are you going to kill me today or what?
We could.
Or we could give you breakfast.
Well, I would certainly appreciate a last meal, yes.
Well, it's the first meal of the rest of your life. How about that?
That was pretty good.
That was good. That was real good.
Have an inspiration for that if you don't already have one. He sort of rolls his eyes for a moment and then looks at you, looks at the plate, and gestures with his shoulders, with his arms tied up behind him, clearly indicating that he cannot feed himself.
Mage hand, start feeding him.
Excellent solution to that problem that I did not exactly foresee. So yay. All right, your mage hand is able to feed the occasional bite to him. It's able to pick up a fork even and feed it off the fork. Do you resist the allure of going, here comes the choo-choo train, here comes the choo-choo train?
That all depends. Does he readily eat?
He does readily eat, yes.
Then I won't do that. But if he had then I would have, definitely.
Gotcha.
Coming in for a landing. Here we are. Open up. But no, if he eats, it's fine. It's fine.
He'll take several bites and go, well, this is actually rather tasty. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Something to drink?
Indeed, if you have a glass of wine, I'd appreciate it. Mei-chan brings the glass over to him. He takes a sip. He takes first, like he's trying to maintain decorum. But at this point, it's been almost 4 or 5 days since he last ate or drank, which is when you guys tied him up in the first place. So he tries to maintain decorum, but once that first sip of wine and a little bit of fluid hits his system, he leans further in towards the cup and tries to drink in more. Clearly, he's been a bit dehydrated.
All right, slow down. Take in the nose. Dorian will pull it away and do the swish. Look at the legs.
I would hate to insult our guest and their choice of mediocre wines.
Well, I mean, technically you are a prisoner. You're not going to get the finest of wines, but it is serviceable.
Serviceable, yes.
All right, then. So let's just get this out of the way. We have no intention of killing you.
Well, I have failed in my mission by now, and if a team has not been sent to procure me, that means you've hidden me somewhere that prevents magical sight. So yes, at this point, almost certainly my life is forfeit, even should I return home. So, first meal of the rest of my rather short life, as they say.
Really? They would kill you over this?
I have failed my mission.
I know. This is very confusing for me. If we fail at something, then, we pull ourselves back together and we try again. We don't kill people who fail.
Well,
that's idiotic.
Granted, I am making an assumption here. You all seemed prepared to destroy the spell mantle of Gerard. You almost certainly have had enough time. I've been conscious enough to assume that at least a few days have gone by, leading me to believe that you've destroyed now the artifact that I was sent to obtain.
Of course.
I have failed.
Yes.
Yes.
Indeed, spectacularly. You've definitely failed.
Then at best I could hope is that my death would be similarly spectacular.
Why with the death? Why are you so focused on death?
Maybe he had nothing to live for.
Go on living.
If you were part of an organization and you failed at a task, would not your superiors wreak their wrath on you?
No.
Yeah,
They'd be like,
no.
now, Dorian, what have we done wrong? How could we have done this better? Learn from this and move on in your life.
That just sounds like a toxic work system.
Yes.
Sounds right to me.
Perhaps that's why we're so more magically advanced than all of you.
Yes, clearly by your spectacular failure, you're so much more advanced.
And that you needed instruments to actually work toward what you were trying to do, which, again, you have failed at. So how advanced are you, really?
He just looks at you and rolls his eyes for a moment.
Oh, I see. He's trying to anger us to get us to kill him.
Oh, buddy, no. That's not how this
No.
works. Let's
Look,
try, though.
I almost hate saying it, but talking things out is the best way of learning from our mistakes and moving forward, becoming better people.
Beating like a child, I love it.
How strange. You see, if I were to turn to my boss at a failure, he would ask me, what did you do wrong? What were the failures? What were the lessons you could learn from this? And then he'd execute me
Why would he take the time to bother?
so that the next one would then be able to learn from my mistakes.
I feel like the next one should just leave at that point. Like, what
Yes.
benefit do you have out of this?
Status.
Status.
To be a lieutenant to the council?
Oh, that much closer to dying for doing something else wrong.
Reward for having served so long and so perfectly up until then.
Wow, what a horrible life you've led. I'm so sorry.
A life dedicated to a goal for the betterment of our society?
Your
You say that's a
society
terrible
kills people
goal.
for one mistake.
Valid points.
A mistake of this magnitude.
But it couldn't be helped. You really had no chance.
Oh, wait, I would like to know, where do you think you went wrong?
And where do you think you could have done better?
Tell me.
Well,
Wait, take my pen. This is for posterity.
the moment
Pass along.
The moment that you, little Dick, you were in the room talking to me, separated from your enemies, I should have immediately had all of my men attack you, kill you first, thus depriving your friends of your assets in battle. Thus then throw my warriors out into the hall to assault you all as well, while I retreated to prepare the second and third and fourth waves to then completely destroy and perhaps even level the citadel as it stood, bringing the stone down around your heads.
So what I'm taking from this is I'm the most important member of the group.
Oh, dear.
You were the most vulnerable member of the group.
Same thing.
There'll be no living with him now, you see?
Not a problem I'm going to have.
Oh, well, now that sounds like a challenge. I say we keep him.
Oh, I've always wanted a pet.
Ooh, yeah.
Let me ask you one question. If we were to set you free somewhere, what would you do?
Go back to my superiors.
Get myself killed.
It would be my duty.
For queen and country. I see. Well, that just sounds stupid, so I think we should leave you tied up for a while.
We don't have a queen, but all right.
Oh, right. What do you have then?
We are led by a council of the most powerful magic users in the land.
And the necromancer lord, apparently. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yes. It seems that Gerard
Necromancer
took
deck.
all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just wait till he turns on you. Oh.
Yeah. If you think you were going to be dead before.
You won't just be dead. You'll be dead and part of his army.
Oh, yes. So you will keep on living, sort of, but not in a way that anyone cares or will give you any kind of regard for.
What do you
That's
think?
want,
Zombie?
right?
It seems like zombie for this one.
Zombie sounds
Maybe.
good.
Or maybe one of those machines.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
What
just-
about
Insight
those?
check. When you say like one of those machines, roll an insight fucking check.
Fuck yeah.
Okay. All of us? I assume?
22.
Yeah, I'll give it to everybody who's in the room.
All right.
22 is really solid. I think I actually have to roll him a deception to control.
Natural 20.
Nice.
A nat 20. Okay. What's the total number then?
20.
Okay.
Dorian, not very insightful.
I'm just loading and rolling so slow. I don't think I'm going to beat, and I'm not. Never mind. 14, bye.
Okay. Maeve, what was yours?
Didn't roll it because here's a joke specifically for Chris. A friend of mine just messaged me to say, I think I'm going to sign up for some meal delivery service. So I was like, wait, hold on. I have to. All right. It was insight.
Insight.
That's 12.
Okay. I'll give Valak with an 18. You feel that there's a tightening of his spine when she says like one of those machines. happens. You notice that there is a reaction, but at an 18, you can't quite put together what the reaction is for, like what it could possibly mean. For a crit and a 22, he very much responds to that. His eyes widen ever so slightly. His nostrils flare just a little bit. His gills on his neck ripple for just the fraction of a second. And he suddenly, like, you two get a vibe like he's somehow terrified in that moment that maybe you know something that you should not.
Ah, there it is.
Yes.
Yes.
Tell us about those.
By all accounts of what you've just said, I would be better off if you all killed me now rather than returning to my homeland.
Oh,
So
no, we
please,
can't do
go
that.
ahead, right here. And he lifts his chin up, exposing his neck, easy enough for a slash or a knife to go into.
And the mage
I tickle
hand-
him.
Mage hand slaps him on the side of the face a little.
Tickle neck, head down, smack in the face.
Yes.
Tickle him right in the ribs.
That's her, man.
I'm gonna roll him a check to see what his reaction is to being tickled. I don't think that's a torture type he's ever experienced before.
Yes.
Not
Especially
ready
at
for
the
that.
gills.
Yes.
Little soft fur on the gills. He's like,
Now you face the platinum ring.
Roll
Tickle.
roll me a sleight of hand to
Oh,
see
fuck
how
yeah.
well you get tickled.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm proud of this. Hold on. I got to get the right die for this.
your
Oh, yeah.
sleight of hand is crazy.
Oh, it's a 19 on the die.
Oh my God.
28 to tickle.
28 to tickle? Holy shit.
He never stood a chance.
And he
He never did.
He had a 13 on his Constitution saving throw to try to resist a tickle reaction. So yeah, he offers his throat. The mage hand smacks him. His head goes down a little bit. Maeve sneaks around behind him, starts tickling up the side, and he's like twitching back and forth, trying to get his sides away from Maeve's fingers as she goes and tickles him. And it's like he's responding almost like sensations of pain, like he doesn't want to laugh out. Like this is an involuntary torture of reaction and sensation as he's being tickled.
All
Keep going.
I'll stop for a second, and I'll just, because I'm behind him, I'll whisper in his ear, if you tell us what we want to know, I'll stop, but you're not going to die.
I like
This
him to
can go
this
on.
Grandma Simpson. It's a
What's that?
form of abuse.
This can go on for hours. I've seen it.
He continues to try to jerk side to side for at least a few moments longer. It's fine.
Yes. The tickle torture.
It's real, man.
What is it exactly that you wish to know?
Everything.
Everything about the machines.
And everything you promised to tell us before we took you down.
Everything.
Everything.
Start tickling him again.
Perhaps Maeve should start doing the tickle again.
Just poke on the
Maeve?
side.
Before I say anything more, I want you to know and understand that I tell you this, and not only am I doomed to die, but torturous death of my soul for eternity beyond is my fate.
Well, isn't
Kind of
that
sound
the
like
fate
that
was-
already.
Yeah.
But no, if you just kill me now, I just die. If I return, I die plus. If I tell you this and it is found out that I have told you all of this, and I am ever captured by the Council of Sinisma, I am beyond damned.
Well, there are 2 points there. One, you've already offered to give us all this information in the first place in a trade, so they would assume you've already told us. And 2, that sounds like a you problem.
Or you could hang out with us. You will look back on this moment years from now and laugh when we became fast friends.
We could just protect you.
You
Or tickle you. Maeve?
Your choice.
The odds are
1,
that Gerard will be successful in his quest.
2,
And the people of Sinisma will be the only survivors.
3. Go ahead, Maeve.
You all protecting me like this will only last so long.
Don't be such a downer.
Oh,
We're
such
gonna
a baby.
We'll win. We're
Turn
the
that frown
protagonists.
upside down.
How's the little fish doing? How's the little fish tickle doing?
Yes.
How about you wait until right before Gerard takes over the world and then kill yourself? But, fight the good fight till then, yes?
He again puts up as much of a struggle as he can for quite a while, and then goes, "All right, fine. I'll tell you where your grandparents are." Does that cause Maeve to stop?
Since I don't know whose grandparents he's talking about,
He, in the previous discussion before you guys had taken him prisoner, he had said to Maeve, "Oh, you daughter of Clever Flame, yes, I could tell you where your grandparents are."
then yeah, I'll stop.
Right.
But with the response of somewhere in the ocean that drowned ages ago.
If that is what you have been told, you have been lied to, my dear. They still sit in their home, ruling over the Flawless Grotto clan.
Wait, did you just say ruling?
Were you unaware of your Maeve's ancestry?
Excuse me?
I don't believe it's your place to say, so we can stop that line of questioning.
No, we're going to continue this line of questioning. The hell are you talking about?
Your mother, Clever Flame, her parents were the rulers of the Flawless Grotto clan.
No.
It's where
Her
your
parents
father
were
stole you from.
seafarers.
It's where
No.
your father stole you from.
No. Her parents were seafarers, and that's how they met, and they fell in love. And then she had me, and she died in childbirth. They were long gone. Some seafaring crash or something. I don't know. I didn't really get details. They were grandparents that I never met. I didn't really care about it. But no. There was no
Slow down.
ruling of
Right.
anything. There was just fishing.
You're saying Maeve is royalty.
No, we're not. We're not.
He's conflicted, and his eyes flick a bit to Maeve and Dorian, or at least tries to flick to Maeve, who's probably still behind him, ready to tickle again.
Mhm. Well, no, I think as soon as he started talking, I came at least around to face him because it's a lot of "Are you lying to me?" looks.
Yeah. He looks at you and says, "The best of our information is that your father is your father, but your mother was a princess."
Well, then your information is clearly very wrong. I'm no longer afraid of you and your group because clearly you have no idea what you're talking about.
Is it wrong, really?
I mean, didn't you hear the side quest?
What, Sticky?
Nothing.
Good
What? Just talking to myself.
You writing down your weird dreams again?
Some say weird, some say prophetic.
Some say meta.
Just for the sake of argument, where does this clan reside in the world?
And the Shattered Isles, the majority of Tabaxi live. You say that they were merchant folks. Were they? Were they really?
Well, it doesn't make sense any other way. There's no if I'm some kind of ruler princess thing, then why am I not there? Why did I grow up on the seas? Why am I not a princess?
I would believe that would go to the motivations of your father. I can tell you what was. I cannot tell you what was in the heart of people.
There are so many thoughts that are running through her head that I can't express in character because she wouldn't be saying them out loud. But a lot of it is the everything that's led up to this is but dad always wanted me to be like a pirate princess. Oh my God, is that what he actually like? He did want me to be a princess, but just in a different way. I didn't ever want to rule anything. Oh God, I have to go talk to my dad. Oh God, he thinks I'm dead. Oh God. And so that's what's going through her brain. What you see is Maeve just slowly like take a few steps back from this guy.
Right into Dorian?
Yeah. Just step hit.
Something that may also occur to you is back at the wedding that was happening in Tavahia, you pulled out absolutely perfect, flawless manners to deal with the upper crust. You would have been trained in how to do that growing up.
Yep.
Why would your father have spent the time and energy to train you in things like that?
Well, and up until that point, like that may not have even occurred to her yet, specifically because she's a rogue. She's trained to be a lot of things. So she's trained in swordplay. She's trained in archery. She's trained in many different languages. She's trained in like eat the fork that's on the far thing out first. Don't eat until somebody sits down. Like there's a lot of kind of stealth and trickery things that can be attributed to that kind of behavior and knowledge. And that's how she's always written it off in the first place.
But the wheels are returning.
But she'll get there. She'll get there.
Cool. So at this point, she has bumped into Dorian with Octavius still just kind of looking at you with a head, and you can see calculation running into his mind like, oh, I have just found a crack in this group's armor. And you can see him trying to spin wheels in his own head. But I leave the moment of Maeve and Dorian to you.
Yep, well, she bumps, but she doesn't move. She's just standing there.
He'll like move to like catch her in case, just like a steadying. Oh, hey, I'm right here.
You can't see it, but because she's that, you can feel that she's shaking.
Message to Maeve, so no one else can hear this. Don't let him get to you. We'll deal with this later.
Let him get to me. Apparently, I'm a fucking princess.
Later. Let's focus on him, but I promise we'll figure this out.
She takes a deep breath and like breathes out, takes those 2 steps back forward, kind of claws out for tickling. All right, so full of useless knowledge. But what else do you have?
Yes, please continue, or else she'll start on your feet.
Maeve crinkles her nose a little bit, looks back at Dorian like, really? And then goes back.
Everyone knows that the tickle torture is worse on the feet.
His head moves around and he looks over at Moonbeam and says, well, I'd also said before you took me prisoner that there may be ways of the debts that you have accumulated getting you out of some of those debts, or ways to trade favors for other, probably far less onerous temptations on your side. But I don't suppose you'd be interested in that.
I don't think you can.
There are often two ways in which people can earn favors or accrue debts. Either you ask a fey for some sort of service, or you ask for information. Perhaps I could provide you information that you could trade to get favors from others, and then trade the favors that you are owed to those that you owe to get yourself out of the equation.
I don't do math.
Either way, this is the point where you talk and tell us all the information.
Correct.
Maeve starts taking off a shoe.
Yes.
I hear the back of the knee isn't very good either.
I have heard that.
Well, my information is that you owe, I believe it is 3 favors. You owe 3 favors to Haisram, the Prince of Fools. And one of those he traded to the Lady Vernastra to send you here in the first place. If you, I don't know, were able to provide Barasum with information that you have discovered on your journey, perhaps that could cover those other favors of yours. For example, I don't know, if you happen to have traveled to a dark world full of shadows and knew the name of a creature who resided there, the very name of that creature would almost certainly be of value. Narratively, just to remind people because it's been a while, at one point you were partying at the Citadel with the elves. Both you and Maeve, I think, had gotten a little drunk. You were riding on Maeve's shoulder. Maeve tried to stealth away from the party. She rolled a crit, and her armor of shadows basically ripped her out of the fabric of reality, and you, because you were attached to her at the time, into a realm full of shadows. There was an entity that you all encountered there and said that when the world was so desperate and about to be destroyed that if you were to say his name, he could perhaps merge his realm with the prime material plane to preserve it.
Nice.
Do we remember what that name was?
Actually, I realized that I gave you his name in one episode, and then at another recording later on, I changed his name accidentally. But his name, Nige.
What is he? All my brain is saying is chariot, and that's not the right word. You said it earlier.
Avatar?
Yeah, avatar or
Champion?
champion. That's why my brain was saying chariot. Okay.
You don't have enough information about him to ascertain that.
Okay. But he offered.
He offered to merge his realm with the prime material plane if things got desperate and it looked like the world was going to be destroyed.
Okay, wow, I had to tell it twice. Woo.
Interesting. And Dorian eyes Moonbeam like
I'm curious how you found that information.
a little accusatory. Like,
Moonbeam's not looking.
doesn't matter. Still shooting that look at you.
She's like,
You were far from just because Gerard came and talked to us does not mean we were not already interested in all of you. When someone disappears and then reappears moments later in a slightly different location, one begins to form conjectures.
Then you do have eyes everywhere.
We have enough eyes.
And connections.
As for you, little Dicky, I believe I've already given you information about your grandfather Maximus Dickus.
Yes, he got around.
Indeed.
That was
The
some good
biggest
stuff.
bard energy I've ever heard.
He was the max.
I mean, we could have imagined that. It makes sense.
I know, right? Look at me, obviously.
Well, yes, look at
The
you.
minimus, yeah.
What? Sorry?
The fact that Jason was almost quite literally his uncle. I mean, that and he killed him. I mean, I'm sure that would not cause any issues at all.
Wait, that I killed him?
But you all killed Jason, did you not?
Well, yes. I don't see
It
how.
was a group effort.
Yes, my grandpapa won't know because I believe he's dead.
I don't know. I just found out mine aren't, so you know.
Oh, yes, maybe he's a princess.
Yes, that tracks.
We could have tea.
Oh,
Dorian,
I'm not seeing anything dark about my past. My past is just drama.
Do you snap with some glitter when you say that?
Oh, yes, I do it around the world and back again.
oh, I thought it would be in Z formation for Zixa.
Ooh, boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Nikki gets more fabulous every episode.
It's great.
Thank you.
Great.
I can
I'm
teach you
hoping
some
for-
pointers.
I'm super hoping for Glitterbeard by the end of all this.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. Glitter mutton chops.
Yeah.
Yes! Glitter chops. Here for glitter chops. Anyway.
Now we're going to fight some glitter monster. Thanks.
And then he turns and looks at Valak and goes, one thing we never were able to ascertain, Sir Valak, emissary of peace and row and all that.
Ah.
We have heard of you. Why did you never return to your father and your brothers? They were all quite so sad thinking that you had died out in the world.
Yeah.
Alec is speechless and
Bride invited
he
me to a wedding, and
turns his head away.
So I'm sorry, Colby, you've got something coming behind
What
you
was-
with like a TV or something?
Sounded like Ellie.
Ellie's on TV.
Mhm.
I didn't see.
Alec is speechless. He's very sad and kind of turns his head away.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he kind of looks around and kind of cranes his head back around to the side a little bit and looks at Dorian and goes, well, am I going to be let free? Or if I just keep talking, are you all just going to hold the threat of continuing torture over my head?
I mean, I intend to let you free, but you have to give us all the information.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, we're letting him go free? I thought he was going to be our pal.
He
Well,
could be.
I mean, he's more than welcome to accompany us and be protected by us.
Don't forget he could teleport at any moment
Oh, we're not worried about him disappearing.
with us.
Well, because the offer is that we will protect him. But if he wants to be away from us, then he doesn't have that protection.
mean,
I would
what-
rather him not be tortured for all eternity, or at least his soul.
Obviously, I'm just saying, what if he teleports away with one or two of us as prizes to make it up to them?
I think he'd need more than two to make up for this. It's a bad mistake, wasn't it?
Now, if I tell you what I know of Gerard's plans, will you untie me and let me go at that point?
Where would you
No.
get?
If it is the last thing you tell us.
It is indeed intended to be the last thing that I tell you, yes?
Yes, but it's not the last thing that we want to know. So we'll ask that last.
All right, what else do you wish to know then?
Everything about those machines.
Does the bunny ears.
You mean the automata?
Yes, particularly how to free their souls.
If you already know that much, then the souls of sentient beings, sometimes slaves, sometimes troublemakers, sometimes out-and-out rebels, their souls are sort of poured into a symphonic blender of sorts, and bits and pieces of souls are then put out into the automata to empower them and ensure that they continue to perform their task.
So horrible.
So if we were to free the bit of soul that is taking over the current automata, will it kind of magnetize back to another free part of its own soul?
That is not at all what we theorize. We think that when there is enough soul that is able to get out of the magical locks, that is why we have some of these automata rebels that live just outside the borders of Sinismar and cause extra trouble for us. So I believe it'd be more of if a piece of the soul were freed, either the automata would just shut down and stop functioning entirety, and the soul would go off to whatever nebulous state with the gods that souls exist in, or that it would begin to regain enough of itself through memories or some other ephemeral quality in that they regain a fraction of consciousness and learn their own new life from there.
So how do we break the spell that's blocking that?
Well, if you were to completely destroy them, that would break the arcane lock in which their soul is held. Soul fragment, I should say, just to be specific.
Yes, yes. You broke up people's souls and put them into automatons. Got it.
To
Yeah.
serve you.
If you wish for, I don't know of a way to do much more than that.
You did mention that there are rebels amongst
once-
these automata, and they're right outside your border. That must be frightening.
His lips purse a little bit like, damn it, I wasn't supposed to say that. Yes, there are a handful of rabble-rousers that have gone just over the border, and they occasionally will launch in with an attack, and they will claim that they are there to free some of their fellows in arms, just because they are in Watton. It is a bit more trouble than it's worth, honestly, to go into a neighboring sovereign state and just eradicate them entirely.
So they're not in Ewan or Rakos, they're in Watton.
Yes, that is what I just said. Is it
Good
not?
to know.
Get the wax out of your ears, man.
I'm just making sure, covering all my bases.
I do hear that you like rounding the bases almost as much as the Dicky does.
Not sure what that meant, but
No,
yes.
neither am I. Do you have
No. I'd like to, I
Licks
like to,
wrist,
something?
brushes ear.
Is
Are you
that
saying we like to bat on both sides of the ball? You know what I mean?
I don't. Best of all information is the Dorian doesn't like to bat both sides.
Oh, nope, you lost me.
I'm
Yes.
confused by this batting.
It's a thing we do at Zixa. It involves dugouts, gopher balls, rounding bases.
But we have batting enough in Tavahia, but it's for cushioning on a seat.
Oh, Maeve and Moonbeam are definitely giving each other such knowing looks. I'm just like,
There's face palming. There's
We do quite a bit of paddling, yes. Maybe that's the same thing? No?
Like,
Batting the ball
punishment.
around? Yeah.
You would think
No,
that
it's not
all
punishment.
of the halls that he has absolutely frequented, you'd have a little more understanding of anything.
Correct.
Oh, now we're talking
Shocking,
about
really.
holes.
What is this talk of whores to do with?
No, I
Wait,
said horses.
horse?
Horses. Yes, all those horses you've been riding.
Oh, I thought you said holes.
Horses.
Yes, right,
Oh.
horses. That makes more sense, yes. Where were we?
I'm not sure.
But figuring out how to free souls from automatons.
Yes, let's get back on track.
Sounds like they've been blended, and thus you can't.
Strong disagree. You absolutely can.
Oh, okay. Well, if we do them all, then I guess, yes.
Well, they
We'll-
can all work together. They already do.
We can deal with that a bit later, I think.
I think it's something that we should be able to learn how to free them. So every time we come upon some of them, we can free them immediately. So, follow-up
Agreed.
question. What exactly is the process to getting a soul out of a body and putting it into an automaton thing?
On occasion, we've had to perform significant repairs to one of the automata, and with that, we have had to temporarily remove the arcane locks. Now, while the basic magical theory of how to create the arcane locks is similar, each wizard themselves casts it with their own individual flair, or a magical thumbprint almost. So while I could certainly teach perhaps one or more of you some of the basics, you would then also have to get near them. You'd have to perform extensive magical rituals around them to just destroy the arcane lock. It's probably much more to your benefit to just destroy them.
Yeah, that's not an option. So the ones that have broken through, though, has it been clear how they did that?
Yeah, what's your prevailing theory on that?
Well, there are a couple of theories, one of which, oh boy, I'm talking quite a lot. I do wish there was a glass of wine or something.
And Mage Hand will bring you the wine cup.
He takes another sip of it. He goes, well, the prevailing magical theory is really of two schools. One, that either something was defective in the arcane lock when it was cast, thus allowing for the energy of the soul to easily erode the lock over time, or that just the souls themselves are potent or powerful enough that given time, they will erode the lock regardless, and that the automata that have regained some semblance of sentience are those that are just old.
Question. The one that I know, how old was he?
He's been a pirate most of your life.
But I never got like an age or anything from him.
He didn't super like Captain Cade of the Pirates, so there probably wasn't a whole lot of information that you had about him unless you were able to talk to one of his crew or even find him sometime in the future.
Interesting.
And with that, I believe I have earned at least my arms being untied so that I may feed myself, yes?
Mage Hand will bring you a piece of bacon.
yes.
I mean, you could still cast spells with your hands, mate.
Stop giving him ideas, little Dicky.
Seriously.
Just shush.
I'm just letting him know that we know what he knows, so he should know to do it.
No,
Dicky.
It's true. Don't take us for fools.
Out of character, I mean, it is sort of the first duty of anyone who's been captured to try to break out of their capture. So, I mean,
and he's in here for days, so hey.
Yeah.
I gave him bacon.
yes.
And
Sangria.
wine. Listen.
And wine.
Mhm.
Yes.
In my head, it's definitely sangria, so we can keep saying wine, but like I see fruit.
We can put some
We're all
fruit in
seeing
there.
fruit.
Put some fruit in.
yes.
We're all seeing fruits today.
I mean, that's sort of the pieces that I had for all of you. If we go to what's left of Gerard's plans and all, since you all have destroyed his spell mantle, they'll have to build a new one. And under his deal with my people, they will be providing him the materials with which to do that.
Wait, he could just have built one himself? What did he do all this for?
He built it originally.
then why did he go through all this trouble?
We thought that obtaining it from you would be perhaps a lower price than paying him to build a new one for himself.
Whatever, cheapskate.
So he's just sitting in Sinismar making plans to build a new artifact.
Yes.
And also trying to track us down because we pissed him off royally.
Oh, yes, he's quite adamant about all of you being terrible, horrible, no good, very bad entities that have foiled his plans of late.
Oh, good.
It's
That makes me feel
true.
better.
He did run away with his tail tucked between his legs, as it were.
It does
Almost
comfort
had
that
him.
he is definitely talking about how scared he is of all of us.
And you thought you could take us.
Huh.
I wouldn't exactly say scared. Is
I think more annoyed.
with him far more annoyed and wrathful.
Yeah, scared.
Scared is what he should be.
If
I'm
that
not
is
sure
how-
that means the same thing, but all right, yes.
I mean, if you're trying to amass an army and your argument is, oh no, these people thwarted me, I'm so angry, the answer is, I'm actually scared because these are the ones who thwarted me the first time round.
My understanding is that you are the ones who thwarted him the second time around. Again, if we're being specific.
None of us were alive the first time round, so it's not really the dig you wanted it to be.
Yes, we're young and virile.
Oh,
I wink at him, Octavius, and go, I know what you meant. It's all right.
At any rate, so if Gerard is working to rebuild everything from scratch again, what is it that he needs this time around, since we've destroyed some of his original artifacts?
Well, he had 4 of them, so he had to replace his spell mantle. It seemed to be an artifact that protected him from the harmful parts of the magical energies that he would be harnessing for his rituals. So he needs to recreate his magical protection artifacts, yes.
Do you have any idea about how long that will take?
Well, if we assume the level of magical proficiency that he told us he had, it would easily take him a year, perhaps 2.
A year?
If we assume that he did not reveal all of his cards, probably less than a year, perhaps much less.
A year. It's a bit more time than the rest of us thought, right? Right?
Yes. What's on his list so that we can stop it?
I must admit I was not given the inventory of all of the items that he needed to create it, though I imagine it's a great deal of ritual practice. It is the material to create the spell mantle itself that he has to obtain. Now, granted, he would have based on the information that he gave to the Council of Sinismar, he would have not quite the full participation of the Council of Sinismar that would get him all of the materials that he could possibly need. So it was much more an element of time to gather than the scarcity of which you'd be able to, unless you were able to, kill every black dragon in the world or something and burn their bodies to the point where no part of their scales would be useful again. I mean, unless you did something like that, I doubt you could stop him.
I see. So he needs black dragons.
Oh, yes.
What else?
But, I was asked to obtain information on where black dragons were. That's how I know that piece. I don't know beyond that.
Do you know where Black
Where
Dragons are?
are they?
Yes.
His eyes go over to Maeve and goes, I know where one is.
And was that the one that you shared with the whole crew, or you just learned about it?
No, it was in my report.
All right, talk.
Well, I mean, it's a friend of yours. Are you sure you want me to say?
Friend of ours is a black. Is it Moonbeam?
I wish.
Oh no, she's already a dragon. She's like a wither. Never mind.
Only when you've seen me.
What?
Have you talked with your older brother of late? The one you call, you treat sort of like a brother. You're not genetically related.
Alec?
Well, we all talked to him recently. Why?
I mean, it's not my secret. Are you saying that you don't know? Oh, you don't know!
I'm stuck on older brother. Hold on.
You met him. We'll talk about it later.
Oh, your older brother. Ah, Prince.
What's this next level of I don't fucking know that you're just sitting on with such joy? Reminder, I have the claws here.
Yes, Captain Blackfang.
Oh, that makes sense.
Bang. Oh,
The former first officer of your father, Cadence of Water?
The one that hangs out with the turtle dragon.
Yes. Thank you for listening to Attackers of Opportunity. We really enjoyed making this podcast, and I hope that you enjoyed listening to it. If you did, please go ahead and leave a 5-star review on iTunes or whatever platform you're listening to this podcast on. Also, you can find us on Instagram at Attackers of Opportunity. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you on the next episode.